In step 28 of this Institute of Practical Learning course on self-awareness, we talk about how learning behaviour change is quite different to learning other subjects, and just how much it's going to depend on your attitude and the extent to which you're prepared to practice to get the results you want. What we've done now is we're up to question number 9. We've only got one question left. I'm going to pause before we get to that. Now, the 10th question is very often not asked. And the question is, will it help me change? Will it help me change for the better? Now, the key thing here is change. Because most people, as they live their lives, they don't actually think about changing seriously. And when they do think about it, it's just kind of a very slight, it's down here. It's only scores about from 0 maybe to 3. And it's, hey, I like to change. I realize my life could be better, but I'm so busy doing all the things. I'm so busy handling all these other inputs, and I've only got a certain amount of mental bandwidth. People are telling me I need to do this, I need to learn that, I need to go there, all the stuff they're telling you you need to do. And then there's your wants. I want to watch this movie, I want to go to that show, and so on and so on. This business of change, I think the human animal, it has built in it a desire to improve itself. But the society that we live in doesn't really assist you to do that. What the society does is it exploits it. It exploits the fact that you want to change, that you want to look different. And also, to some extent, the desire to improve yourself, to improve your well-being, to improve your property, your popularity, and so on. So when these motivators come on, is it about my safety? Will it help me be like? In a way, they're all a little bit about change, but they're not about behavior change. Sometimes I put the U in and sometimes I don't. It's bothering me that I haven't put the U in this time. I don't think I really suffer from OCD, but it's there. The European way is with a U. And let's face it, I'm European. Well, I'm not, I'm British, actually, with all this Brexit nonsense going on. I'm not even British, I'm English. So there you go. I can spell it that way if I want to. Live with it. Okay, so will it help me change for the better? Now, clearly, the whole purpose of these lectures is to help you change for the better. And I want you to learn soft skills, amongst other things. But here's the problem. My inputs, you're sitting there, you're in one of two situations. A lot of lecturing that I've done, a lot of coaching and work I've done, and the setting of exams and so on, has been for people where they've been hired by multinational corporations, and the corporations say, right, we want you to become more effective, and we're going to give you this training, and we're going to test you on it every so often. One of the people I worked for, the students were there for 9 months, learning all the technical stuff. But in parallel with that, they had to learn the soft skill stuff, how to be better, more effective managers, how to do presentations, how to make things like sales calls, how to identify needs and wants of people, how to get along with people, how to handle stress, all these sorts of things. Now, the thing is, they had to learn to do it. It was very much it was an important need. So it kind of, and they were going to be tested on it. It kind of got an automatic 7. Here, the soft skills, the companies thought that soft skills was important. And in fact, they used to, they tell them they've got to do it. And if they don't, and they fail the exam, they will be let go, which is a euphemism for, fired, basically. So it had an automatic 10. Well, that was, in some ways, that was good for me. It meant they had to listen to me. They had to learn. But the point is, nearly all of them, 95% pass rate at the end of it all, because this stuff's not hard to learn. And they did learn it. And I think it was taught quite well. I worked with 2 or 3 other people to put the course together. I used to set the exams, and then we'd have a team of people who would do the testing at the end. I could describe all the tests and so on, but I don't think I will, not in this video. But the point is, my inputs came in with kind of like an automatic 10. Now, when I'm doing this with you, I don't have that privilege. Nearly all the scoring for what I'm doing and saying to you is you're going to have to provide that level of potential to what I'm saying. It's up to you whether you think I'm a credible source. I could list my track record of stuff. When I was a salesman, I actually sold $2 billion worth of stuff. Hardware, software, services, all that kind of stuff. So that's a lot of money in 2019 and so on. I've taught, I don't like blowing my own trumpet, but credibility-wise, I've been a businessman. And my top pay rate for going to a country was $15,000 a day. Now, that's a lot of money to pay for someone, me, to go to an organization and talk to them and do this kind of stuff. So it's way, way more than any professor you'll find, or any dude from one of these big universities who perhaps hardly got out of their office at all. What they did was interview a whole load of really, achievers, high achievers, and say, what's the secret of being a high achiever? But you don't get high achievers very often who are prepared to commit the time to do this kind of thing. The secrets, how I made it, all that kind of stuff. Usually they're just enjoying doing it, and there's not a passion for them to teach and share. Well, it is for me, because I've done all the other stuff, and now I'm kind of almost desperate. But it's not desperate. I'm enjoying passing it on. I hope you like it. And, I would suggest to you give me a reasonably good score as a source. Is it a known subject? Well, not really. Learning behavioral change is hardly known at all as a subject. There's a lot of stuff that will it increase my powers, a lot of stuff on videos and books that suggest it will, but they don't tell you how. And that's what we're doing here. So the question the guard asks is, will it help me, that's the person, change for the better? Now, it's up to you. Here's my point, and why I've done all of this, is the normal score for that will be low for most people. And I think of, let's say 1,000 people watch this stuff. One of those in 1,000 will actually look at the input and try it, watch 2 or 3 other videos. They'll watch TCD, the Corbin dialogues. They'll watch TCT, which stands for the Cypress tapes. And confusingly, at the moment, I'm calling these the Crucio tapes. So that's not going to help, is it? I'll need to change the name. So you are going to put yourself through this course. It's going to take you many, many hours of study and practice. But I've designed it so that you get what's called quick wins straight away. You can watch one of these sessions. I mean, the one I gave as an example is active listening. If you watch a session on active listening and see the techniques, you can apply those techniques immediately in the next conversation you have. And you will see the impact, you will see the quick win. And in doing so, you'll then, the next time input comes in, or you seek out the input. Here's the point. If you're interested and want to learn, you have to seek out the input. It won't be pushed in as an external need. So it totally changes the nature of the scoring system. And you are going to have to push the score that you give, the input, to the time you spend watching this course. You is going to have to push it up to a level of importance to you. You're going to have to find a time in the day and a place and a mood whereby you are motivated enough to sit down and study, keep your own notes, decide what you're going to practice the next day, and all those kinds of things. And so it is, really, really is up to you to set those scores and do that activity. And as I say, I'd be hugely pleased if 1 in 1,000 of you actually does this. And, I can tell you, it won't help your safety much. It will help you be liked, actually. Soft skills are really important to helping a person be liked. Liked, it really is kind of like a magic formula for knowing how to get yourself liked if you want to. Will it help you increase your power? Absolutely it will, especially in management and so on. Soft skills in management, you don't have to take my word for it. There's loads of books about it, talking about how to increase your personal power. Will it help you make money? Well, that depends what you use it for, and save money. If you're a more empowered person, it's kind of up to you. So I'm not making any claims here, although I think it will give you the sustaining power. If you draw energy from the wonderful things around you, and it means you can apply yourself for longer with more focus. You can use critical analytical thinking and so on. And it just makes the whole business of making money much easier indeed. And will it help you change your behavior? Yes, it will. It will, in minutes. None of this, you have to do it for a year before you see any benefits. You will get quick wins all the time, progressively. I have designed the material to give you quick wins. So at the end of each session, you'll be able to say, yeah, I learned that. During this session, I learned about this. This is how I can apply it, and onwards and upwards. Okay, so I'm just going to do a checklist now. What have I covered? I've talked about raising the potential of a question, source tagging, physical, psychological, which guard. This is to do with time of day, really, because the guards get changed. I suggest you don't try and learn this stuff in the middle of the day while you've got some kind of busy activity. Do it when you have a space of time, maybe an hour, without too much external pressure on you. And instead of watching a movie, say, right, I'm going to watch Graham Lamb do some soft skills stuff and see if I can apply it. So the purpose of this is all to help you learn, to help you change your behavior. I can't change your behavior. You've got to change your behavior. Is it relevant to your situation? Well, the one there I put is interview. When Corbin came to me, he had some interviews coming up. And I thought, well, that's really interesting opportunity. I can work with him and build his skills using soft skills to really ace that interview. I call it becoming an interview ninja. So ninjas are kind of Japanese warriors that have got all the right skills and the weapons and the tools, and they're in complete control, yada, yada, yada. You probably know what ninjas are better than I do. But becoming an interview ninja. So that's one quick path through all these videos. You could cherry pick the videos and see which ones are about me priming Corbin to go off and really ace interviews. And in the end, he just got fantastically good at it. And he really enjoyed interviews. He was brilliant. Wasn't afraid of interviews anymore. He enjoyed doing them. And in an interview, he was able to convey to the person interviewing him what his strengths were, what his personality was, and potentially work with the interviewer to find a match. And is that a job Corbin wants to have? And is he an employee that the interviewer wants to have?
Think about your daily schedule. Is it possible for you to set aside a 30-minute slot at some time during the day when you can read, watch, and practice something that's going to make your life better?